Hello and welcome to the channel. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I really appreciate that. So it seems like the gaming industry is going in a bit of a just terminating everybody. EA's EA. Okay. So EA is gonna be letting go about 5% of their workforce, and it's very unfortunate because certain projects have been canceled, which I'm super disappointed about. And I was actually excited about this. So obviously, we know the biggest moneymaker for Electronic Arts is their Madden franchise, even though it's the same game every single year, as well as the FIFA. Or should I say the FC? Those are their moneymaker because they make a ton of money on microtransaction. So those are the kind of games that they want to keep focusing on, even though they found success in the likes of Jedi Fallen Order and certain other single player games, even though they were talking crap about single player games, because this game is absolutely amazing. I played it, I finished it, and I enjoyed it. The first game was good. Actually, the first game was good. I enjoyed the first game. I don't want to say good, it was great. But this one built upon that and went even further than that, whether it's the combat system and everything like that. So to me, I feel like any studio that's making you money, you leave them alone whenever you're deciding to cut workforce. Like Respawn, I would not touch anything that they're doing over there. I would not fire a single developer from that studio because they're making EA money. Jedi Survivor sold, it made money. Just like the first game, it made money. I swear, everything that Respawn touches just turns into gold, and it's amazing to see, especially since EA themselves didn't want to focus on first-person games. But anyway, here we are. So one of the big projects too that were in the works, now it's been canceled. It's going to be the first-person Mandalorian game. That game has been canned, but fortunately, Respawn is still cooking up other Star Wars games, and I'm low key kind of disappointed because I was really looking forward to that Mandalorian one. I enjoyed the show, and knowing that Respawn Studio was going to be doing it, I was in. I was sold. I was locked in. I was ready. But this is very, like I said, it's very unfortunate. Um, so they're canceling this that game, like I said, and we'll see what the future holds. It's a very dark time right now when it comes to gaming in general. In another news, Embracer Group too. I think I talked about just the industry layoff and stuff like that, but Embracer Group is also laying off a ton of people, as well as closing down studios, because their whole thing was, let's buy as many of these studios as we can so they can generate money for us, and that's how we're gonna do it. So they went on a spending spree, and it backfired so epically. And they were just releasing flops after flops. I mean, Saints Row, that game was. Anyways, let's go. Let's do this. Apologize if I repeat myself a few times, but let's go. Here we go. According to Wilson, EA will double down on owned IP, sports, and massive online communities. While Wilson did not provide details on which games would be sunset, EA already announced that it would be shuttering two mobile games, F1 Mobile Racing and MLB Tap Sports. This greater focus allows us to drive creativity, accelerate innovation, and double down on our biggest opportunities, including our owned IP, sports, and massive online communities to deliver entertainment players want today and tomorrow. And lastly, we are streamlining our company operations to deliver deeper and more connected experiences for our fans everywhere that build community, shape culture, and grow fandom. IGN understand that these layoffs will impact the number of teams across EA, largely affected support teams. Blah blah blah. I understand this will create uncertainty and challenging for many who have worked with dedications and passion and have important contribution to our company. And you know what's sad? Here's the sad part, man. Year after year, these companies will host a profit of like great profits. I've talked about this in my other video. Like at one point, Blizzard made a shit ton of money the previous year, and then they just laid off and fired a bunch of people the following year in order to maximize their profit for the next year, which is kind of effed up in my opinion. Um, it's sad, and while all these big CEOs are getting bonuses after bonuses after bonuses, they don't give a crap, man. They don't care about the people that work for them, that's sweating, you know, pouring their heart and soul and blood and tears into these games to make the players happy. They don't care, man. They just want to maximize as much profit as they can. They want to milk every single franchise as much as they can. And another thing that I've also read about is EA just wants to, they're trying not to do other IPs or whatever particularly, but they are going to keep making the Star Wars games. So that's good, right? Anyway, moving on to the next story is the Embracer Group. I know I did not cover this. I talked just a little bit of it. Embracer may be preparing to sell Gearbox, so that's a huge win. And then also another huge win is the Knights of the Old Republic. Saber Interactive escapes Embracer in $500 million deal, which is great because that company's trash. They were just purchasing these big studios, and then they would close some of them down if they're not being productive. I'm like, this makes no sense to me. If you buy a studio, then you have to invest money to make quality product, and then eventually you're gonna see the fruits of your labor. But they waste no time to close down these studios without giving them an actual shot of making a great game that the community is gonna love. They're just trying to make as much money as they can. And unfortunately, you know, the developers and people that are working at those places are the one that's going to be suffering. So here we go. This month, Embracer warned of further layoffs despite letting go 1,387 staff since its restructuring began in June. Embracer's total headcount was reduced by 904 during the second quarter of financial year, then by another 483 in third quarter. That's 8% of the group's global workforce. The company also canceled 29 unannounced games during the 2 quarters. Man, that's sad, man. I hope those people are able to find other jobs and land on their feet, because it's hard being a developer right now. And I wish I could say something positive about the industry, but it doesn't look good, to be honest. When you have big studios like Insomniac Games, which makes boatload of money for Sony, they're making a lot of money for Sony, but they still not keeping the talent that they have. They're literally terminating these people and just laying them off, and it's very unfortunate. I think certain studios should be off limits, in my opinion. When it comes to EA restructuring, I think they should have left out. Respawn shouldn't be touched at all. They should be able to keep everybody there and just deal with all the other ones. Unfortunately, for me, that's the way I'm looking at it, as the big picture, because if you're making me money, if you're making good games, and the community support is positive, overwhelmingly positive, I'm not touching those studios. I'm not touching Insomniac Games. I'm not touching Naughty Dog, even though they just focusing on remasters and remakes, which is Sony's fucking fault. Like, these fucking CEOs or these higher ups that are making these decisions to make these remakes and remasters instead of focusing on original IPs, because in my opinion, Naughty Dog is an A plus company. The kind of product that they put out, A plus when it comes to visual story, A plus. Same thing with Insomniac. They have taken that Spider-Man and they ran with it. But it's just unfortunate. But then again, you know, who am I? I'm just an armchair commentator and just throwing out my opinion. Hopefully some of you guys will listen and enjoy the content. Ubisoft as well too laid off a bunch of people as well. It's nobody is safe. No studio is safe right now. Everybody's just letting go a bunch of people. What is crazy too, like if you go to any of these websites, you'll see that they're hiring, which is crazy, right? So I went to Insomniac. Obviously they're not hiring, but I went into Santa Monica studio and they're hiring, and they just terminated a bunch of people too. So it's crazy. So they're hiring 3 positions for animations, 5 for programming, 5 for art, 6 in design, 6 in production, 2 in tech art. So those people that were fired, why didn't they just kind of like move those people over to their other studios if they have opening? But you know, it is what it is, man. Anyways, if you enjoyed the content, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.